Horizon Gents, welcome to GeoGaphic, and this is ruining Finding Nemo with science because I can, because I want to, okay? Can you ruin Finding Nemo? Because I'm pretty sure it's not scientifically accurate. Even people who doesn't know much science know that. But yeah, it's good. I guess he's becoming Neil deGrasse Tyson now because it's his job to ruin shit. Not to me. He doesn't ruin anything for me. I love it, right? Whenever he like breaks down, everything happens in the movie. Scientific. Other people are like, oh, why are you ruining this? Like, what do you mean ruin? It's extra information. Either take it or don't. So this is gonna be one of those videos. This is gonna be awesome. I'm a big science guy, so yeah, let's watch one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. I like watching anything animal zoology type of video. It's fun. It's fun to see how other species work and how similar they are to humans, because I'll tell you what, if you grab anyone from the street and ask them, every single one of them will be surprised like how similar to us most animals are, right? And they'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't know they actually feel like that. And that's kind of fucked up. I feel like our education system must have zoology and all this like animal science in it like strongly than it is right now, because we live amongst animals. Like it's a good thing to learn. Like, why not, right? It's important thing. And because of like all the environmental issues and global warming and shit, how important ecosystem is, it's good to learn that. It's for your benefit as well. So I don't know. So let's do this one.
Violently ripped off the census, and his only remaining son is left physically disabled, only for that same son to get kidnapped by a trafficker, and now the father has to travel hundreds of miles across predator-populated hoods with only the help of a severely mentally handicapped woman. Yeah, Finding Nemo is crazy. I'm gonna destroy your favorite movie with science, and here's a challenge: take a shot, or a hit, cause 420. Every time a main character should have become a chalk outline. Your grandkids will be an AA at the end. So it starts with a barracuda clapping virtually
420 came and went. I didn't. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
Nemo's entire bloodline, and here's where we get our first problem. Barracuda don't eat clownfish or their eggs, but you know who do? Clownfish themselves. Clownfish have been known to spawn, kill, and eat their own eggs, so Nemo's mother would have been infinitely more of a threat to him than any barracuda could have been. Now,
ooh, I wonder what it is. Like, oh, this like it's like peanuts. No, it's not peanuts.
To be fair, if you ask a clownfish how they like their eggs, they'd probably say unfertilized, because those and damaged ones are the ones they'd usually eat, i.e. the ones that wouldn't make it anyway. But that goes against my narrative, so I'm gonna disregard it. The other elephant to address is how clownfish breed. Clownfish are sequential hermaphrodites, where every clownfish is born a male, and the biggest, most him male will transition into a female when the opportunity arises. Such an opportunity would be if a hypothetical barracuda took the alpha female on a dinner date with Batman's parents. That void would get filled by the biggest male clownfish in the area, and his spot would by the second biggest male, and the two would proceed to mate with each other. And since the only clownfish we see in the entire movie are father and son, I'll let you fill in those dots. Clownfish aren't the only fish that switch teams. The Asian sheep's head wrasse does it.
I didn't write, man. It's not even 2 minutes in the video. It's like 1.5 minutes. Why would you do that? I wasn't prepared for that. The fuck, man? You're going hard this time.
Same, but in reverse. They go from female to male. Although with a face for radio, you will not see them on a movie poster. If Nemo and Marlin having the worst form of family therapy wasn't bad enough, there's a good chance Nemo wasn't ever even alive. What if I told you Nemo means no one in Latin? Which means the movie title makes the theory that Marlin married Itachi suddenly gained legs. He also could have been named after Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But that goes against my narrative, so I'm gonna disregard it. It's easy for facts to get lost in favor of a better story, and if you don't know where to look, you'd have no way of knowing. Like, you may have heard that the administration started putting tariffs on penguins. Now, personally, I think it's been time those business chickens ponied up. They've had it too good for too long. But I gotta pretend to be partial. So that's why I'm working with Ground News. Ground News is an app and website developed by a former NASA engineer who did not like the way
is Ground News getting bigger? Somehow I'm hoping it gets bigger, because news is one of those things that is fucked up, man. Like, there needs to be something like this. I don't know. Like, more and more creators are getting sponsored by them, guessing they're getting big enough. I don't know. So go to ground.news/casual geo and support this channel.
now. Nemo's mom passed tense her progeny, and his father's going Marlin to Marlene as soon as he gets off screen. Alright, so Nemo is going to school, and when we get there, we meet these guys. And I remember as a kid, I was not sure what Pearl was. Well, she's a young flapjack octopus. They're remarkably adorable in real life. Problem is, if this were real life, she'd be a lot less cute. The flapjack can be found in depths as far down as 1,500 meters, or 100 meters short of a mile, or about 3.5 Empire State Buildings. And since his pink propeller hat can withstand crushing pressure, if she existed where Nemo could see her, she would be turned into disfigured mush. Think about how getting pulled out of their habitat turns a normal-looking blobfish into a deflated, misshapen whale fetus. There's a whole course that got memed, and Pearl being where the sun shines would reduce her to flamingo vomit. Also, at one point, Pearl says this about her arm.
It's actually shorter than all my other tentacles.
Well, octopus usually have one shorter arm called the hectocotylus, and its job is to deliver baby batter directly to the female, and in some species, it detaches for the female to swim off with like a Costco coitus card. In fact, the bedroom arm might have a mind of its own, since it can swim to the female, and it's believed it can even sense danger. So two things, Pearl's not a girl, and that is an indecency charge. And that's not the last time we go down that road either.
You thought humans are gross. Yeah.
Now we're gonna ignore the fact that flapjacks don't actually have a hectocotylus because that goes against my name. So after Nemo sees his first pink slip, we then meet Mr. Ray. Not to be confused with the op of the Irwins, because Steve wouldn't even want that, but also because Mr. Ray is a manta ray, non-venomous and completely harmless. Now I don't know if they did this on purpose, but they chose arguably the smartest fish in the ocean to be their teacher. Manta rays are considered the most intelligent, with the largest brain to body ratio of any fish. The overachieving aquatic placemat is apparently capable of problem solving and advanced communication. They're also
smarter than orcas? I thought orcas were the smartest. Alongside like elephants, crows. I felt like elephant and orcas were the smartest things apart from human, right? I didn't know this has more brain power than orca. But then again, like it has the biggest size brain like compared to its body. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the complex like how orcas are, right? I don't know.
Self-aware, with more than one occasion of a manta ray checking itself out in a mirror, and they were even caught waving and blowing bubbles at their own reflection. And just for reference, that's not how they'd react to another manta. Some mantas have even been on record.
Like, oh, I look good. Yeah, there you go. You know, it's how you wash your face, like throw bubbles at face. Like, oh, there you go.
Asking divers for help removing hooks, so yeah, makes sense this one would have a teaching degree. Anyway, Mr. Ray gives the kids a marine magic carpet ride through the reef. Stop, right there. As a kid, it used to drive me crazy that I didn't know what that was. Years later, I have the answer. Spanish dancer. This Pacific pancake is a nudibranch, aka a type of giant sea slug, and a species known as a Spanish dancer, named after the flowing frills of a flamenco performer. It looks a lot like what SpongeBob got caught watching in 4K, and ironically, sponge is what they eat, and they'll actually steal their toxins for their own use. It's essentially cultural appropriation with poison. They also play for both sides, but unlike clownfish, they're born with both equipment. Now for how they use it, well, sometimes two slugs will donate nativity nectar to each other and head on their way. Some sea slugs have two penile appendages, one for delivering baby batter, and the other to stab their partner through the head to release a substance believed to brainwash the receiver into accepting their love juice while internally rejecting that of a rival. How do Spanish dancers do it? I don't know. I honestly stopped looking because I can only read the words traumatic insemination so many times.
Yeah, human needs to gather complex chemicals to do that. Hey. Yeah, okay. So that's similar shit, but naturally.
Also in the movie, that specific dancer has a name. Canonically, it's Maria. Or I guess Mario. Or I guess both. So anyway, you know how the story goes. Eventually they get to the drop-off, the kids start doing the type of shit that got Harambe packed, and Nemo decides he really wants to live up to his name and gets himself kidnapped. His father tries to save him, but gets flashbanged by a camera. And yeah, that's accurate. A camera flash might not kill a fish, but it's severely disorienting and like a forced factory reset. That's why they say no flash photos in an aquarium. One time a tuna mistook a flash for a fish and proceeded to one-shot itself into the glass in front of several children. So I take it back. I guess it could have murked Marlin if it made him split his skull in a piece of coral. A little while after that, we get to Dory. She's a regal blue tang and a species of surgeonfish.
The fish's eyes are very different than human eyes, right? Because they can see underwater. We can't really see underwater. Like you have all this awesome video and all that shit of like clear underwater images where like fish is flying and everything. No, if you go underwater and try to use your eyes to see it, through water you can't see it like that, right? No, I'm not talking about the glasses, wearing glasses, no, naked eye. Because our eyes are not like that. Like fish's eyes are, specifically is, evolutionary is made that way. They can see through water. So yeah, flashes and shit like that. It's probably gonna like give them, I don't know, photosensitivity or something like how some humans have.
That gained a lot of clout from the movie. She's also venomous with a caudal spine that extends whenever the fish is stressed, meaning Dory has a built-in prison shiv. Not only can it cause severe pain and deep cuts, you're also liable to catch a nasty bacterial infection. That's why they're called surgeon fish, because they will cut you. Dory would also conceal carry a toxin called ciguatera, and poisoning can lead to migraines, trouble breathing, and hallucinations.
Something is strong blue color or something like that, or yellow color, or some mostly blue. Yeah, it's poisonous probably.
So yeah, the beloved Disney character can be a real headache to deal with in real life, although to be fair, I've heard the same said about her voice actor. Not long after that, we meet Bruce, and considering he expeditiously kidnaps and essentially escorts them to an underwater white van, he might just be a predator in every sense. But when we see all three sharks, they swear by vegetarianism. We also see this guy. Remember him, he's gonna be important. Now there actually are vegetarian sharks. More than half of the bonnethead shark's diet is seagrass. And turns out whale sharks eat a massive amount of green. But considering we're talking about a great white, a hammerhead, and a mako, the only thing saving a clownfish and a blue tang is they're technically too small to even be worth the effort. Also, when Jaws cries about
Exactly. Hello there. Yeah, they are not doing that shit. They are not saying hello. It's either you food or you're not. That's what it is.
never knowing his father is because many sharks exhibit multiple paternity, where one litter can have several fathers. Shark mommy's womb is like a baby batter bouillabaisse, where paternity is like a lottery system. That was really gross. I'm gonna tone it down. But yeah, Bruce has no way of knowing who his father is. But it could be worse. Baby sand tiger sharks will cannibalize their siblings while in utero, and we know that because one time a scientist tried to slide his hand inside a pregnant shark's nookie and almost got his finger bit off. Okay, so later on, Marlin and Dory decide to dive into God's blind spot. Now, ignoring the fact that the pressure should have popped their eyes out and pushed their organs out of their mouths, they nearly get sent.
Okay, what is with casual geographic? The previous video was a lot of innuendos, let's just say. I had to remove the thumbnail I had because YouTube's like, oh, that's a problem. That's why it didn't have like, it had the basic thumbnail of a video, right? Auto-generated. I had to remove the custom thumbnail because YouTube's like, oh, because it was that touch and go, right? It was like testing the algorithm that way. This is also similar way. I don't know how this is gonna perform. Can I put thumbnail on? Will I have to remove something? I don't know.
To a Tupac concert by Anglerfish. Now, fun fact, if you watch the credits, that anglerfish lives a vorophilic wet dream when it gets swallowed by the little anxiety guppy from earlier. Funny thing is, it'd be the other way around. Anglerfish can distend their jaws and stomach and swallow prey physically bigger than they are. They extend so far that it inspired one man to pleasure himself with a dead anglerfish's stomach, which promptly sent him to the hospital. Should have sent him to solitary confinement.
Yeah, this is one of those like, reverse the table type of joke in the movie. Where in any other movie, some big guy comes who has a fighting background and some slim guy kicks his ass. People are like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, because that shit never happens. Right? That's not how world works. Some guy's bigger, he's a fighter, he's gonna kick your ass, doesn't matter what. So yeah, in that movie it was like, oh, look at that thing ate the like scary fish. No, that's not how it works.
Confinement. That is a hell of a hear me out, the kind that should forfeit your right to human contact. It's not long after that we meet a lot of 90s kids' first introduction to rage bait. If these moonfish were humans in 2025, they'd be kick streamers. In real life, fish will use this shoaling strategy to intimidate predators using the hive mind method. On a large scale, it's pretty cool. It makes sharks swimming through them look like an Etch-a-Sketch. But when predators like tuna gang up on them, it turns the bait ball into a slaughter. Also, just as a callback, the reflection of the sunlight off the prey's scales is exactly why a camera flash can make a tuna crash. Out, that is. Now let's talk about Nemo, because Buddy would have really become a no one before he ever saw his dad. Let me tell you about osmosis. No. So diffusion just means molecules will move from one area of high concentration to low concentration, and osmosis is that, but for water. Stay with me now. As a saltwater fish, Nemo would normally have a higher concentration of water inside him than outside, so high to low, water would leave him like his mother left the mortal plane. To avoid meeting her, Nemo would have to take in water while his kidneys work to pump the salt out. But put him in fresh water and the opposite happens. Now the concentration of water would be higher outside Nemo than inside, so high to low, Nemo would get internally waterboarded. So Nemo being flushed in a freshwater sewage plant means he would not make the sequel, as his cells would swell and rupture and he'd get packed up by water poisoning. Also, fun fact, one line in this movie led to the deaths of thousands. You want to guess what it was?
It was a Grand Tour episode, one of the special ones. I'm guessing one of the recent one, where they had to like transport fish to one of the African towns. And James May, being James May, was like figuring out how much salt to put in. So it's just exact amount of salt how seawater has. And Clarkson's like, "What you doing there? Like, don't bore me," type of shit. And I'm like, yeah, this is important. Like, otherwise fish won't survive. Many different shit happens if you don't do that.
Was
All drains lead to the ocean, kid.
just like that, Disney sent countless amounts of pet fish to the gulag at the hands of dumbass little kids, and if I had fish at the time, I would have been one of them. It also inspired children to set their goldfish free in the wild. Giant Goliath goldfish is why you do not do that. It's a bug-eyed invasive that's basically a nuke to the natural habitat. Now, I'm not blaming the movie for this, but their hands aren't clean. The irony is, a movie about letting fish be turned a lot of wild fish into pets and a lot of pet fish into the
Look, man, if you make a movie about kids punching each other, like Fight Club, but about kids, and then suddenly you realize in the news kids are fighting each other, it is their fault. Like, sure, like movie didn't force anyone, but it's not as simple as that. Things have more nuance to it, isn't it?
wild. Anyway, back to the father. Eventually, they both get taken by a whale. And oh boy, there is a lot to unpack here. Stay with me now. That was a blue whale. Not only are they the biggest things alive ever, it takes so much energy for them to open their mouths. They only do it when they're guaranteed enough krill calories. Not only that, blue whales taking so much water in the process. We're talking 10,000 gallons or like 200 bathtubs. The effort it takes to carry all that means the blue whale can barely move. So yeah, Bluey would have been physically incapable of carrying them to Sydney. But even if they could, Nemo still would have come out of it an orphan. When blue whales hold all that water, they squeeze that water out with their tongue. Anything not water gets trapped in their baleen. It's how they filter feed, which means our fish friends would have been.
Yeah, they are also inside the water, right? Buoyancy is the same, so I don't think that would matter that much when it comes to like traveling. But knowing their size, yeah, the level of energy requires for them to move is insanity. Like even opening the jaw requires too much energy.
Been crushed to death by an 8,000-pound tongue. That's the weight of an elephant. Also, it would have been physically impossible for the whale to shoot them off at Sydney, since the blue whale's mouth does not connect to its blowhole. Also, whales don't shoot water out of their blowholes. It's really just warm whale lung air meeting cool outside sea air with some mucus, and it smells like a tire factory married the final boss of tonsil stones. So if smell kills, they would have got a guest pass to fish hell. But ignoring all that, eventually they trade one live Uber for another when a friendly pelican saves them from a flock of hungry seagulls. Seagulls are a feathery antichrist and the spawn of Satan. And they should be afraid of pelicans, since pelicans are documented literally swallowing birds alive.
I love this. You talk about a scene from movie and that's just like those things are Satan's spawn. Yeah. When he said like I'm gonna ruin this with science, yeah, he wasn't joking around.
In fact, one of the most traumatizing documentaries I watched was where Cape gannets were nesting on Malgus Island by the thousands, but because of overfishing, great white pelicans started pulling up to the nursery. What followed was a bunch of today pterosaurs strolling across the island like a grocery aisle and swallowing any unsupervised chicks alive. Like you could hear the chicks as they were sliding down their throats, only for the pelicans to fly home just to regurgitate the recently devoured baby birds for their own pelican chicks to eat. So yeah, Nigel might be the real villain here. Now that didn't really have to do with the plot, but I just sat here and
I mean, that's how nature made them. Like, can you really blame them? Like, it's a, yeah, food circle overall, right? I don't know, man. In the end, you can't really point to an animal like, oh, that thing is evil. It's like fire is evil. I mean, not really. Yeah, maybe apes, some of the apes, because they're kind of intelligent. If something is really intelligent, yeah, like orcas, or like elephant, apes, maybe you can say, oh, those are evil a-holes. But even then, it's like circumstance, right? Like humans have a lot of free will. How many of these animals have free will in that way? Can they control their environment? Then you can say like they're evil or not.
overanalyze the kids movie from 2003 because I have nothing better to do. And if this video gets 150,000 likes, I'll do it to another one. You can probably guess which one. Friendly reminder that I do have a Patreon if you'd like to support me.
All of that. It's like a 500,000 views, 400,000 views, but it has 60,000 likes, which is like, I don't know, man, right? Like, yeah. His video gets some, a lot of likes sometimes. So I'm guessing people don't want him to do that. Because if he has a 500,000 views, a lot of his videos have like a 200,000 likes and shit like that. Right? No, not 100,000, 200,000, some shit like that. If he gets like 500,000 or million views. This is a 500,000 views, right? It's only a 60,000 likes. I'm guessing people don't want him to do that. That's insane. All right. Well, that was ruining Finding Nemo with science because I can. Go to original video page and support this guy, man. It's like really good. Like this guy has been like a big animal fan since he was a kid, right? Like he talked about that in some of the videos, and the topics he covers like a lot of channels don't. Like Tier Zoo is awesome. Zafrank one is awesome. Zafrank is awesome, but none of them like is passionate like how Cats Geographic is. It's awesome, right? I'll see you next time.